strong, the evil one. And what did the people do? They answered with the usual way. Get away from here. Get away from here, Sayona. Get away from here. Far right wing. In the year 2015 to 2013, they tried to start the first turmoil with Capriles. Then remember in 2013 they said their elections of municipal councils on December, and they said, Maduro, the elections are a plebiscite. And they started to organize their conspiracies. And on Sunday, December 8th, we will attack you. And I was saying, what did I do? The elections are in the municipalities. Calm down. We are targeting you, said La Sayona, Julio Borges, Capriles, the usual ones. And we were calmed with still nerves, and on the day of the election, vote plus vote, we had a victory, and we won 80% of the town halls and municipal council. And they had to avoid their plebiscite. But they didn't abandon their plan. And on January 2014, they started the first conspiracy that was held during 60 continuous days, destroying health centers, schools, bus stations, because they felt that attacking bus stations and buses was attacking me, because I am a bus driver proudly, and I will be it forever. And that way, 2015 started with long lines. Suddenly, I had announced it previously because someone in the US told me they are going to do this. And the harsh economic war started. 2015, March 9th, the Nobel Prize of Peace, Barack Obama, declared Venezuela threat to the security of the United States, and the sanctions started, and the economic war is worsened, and the scarcity started, shortages and economic war, psychological war. All this produced a political tragedy that opened the doors for the devil in Venezuela. On that December 3rd, during the elections that they called of the last line for the National Assembly, we welcomed, and we had the worst of the news that the humble people might get when the CNE announced that in those elections had won the National Assembly the opposition of the far right in Venezuela. Do you remember it? I was out quickly when teleSUR Lucena announced the results. I showed my face immediately. I was not hidden. I was not summoned, calling the people to burn. I can confess that I got a lot of from several regions and people that were in doubt about the results, that it was unfair what was happening in Venezuela. People was um, and I said, we have lost, we accept the results, and I hope that they know what they are doing with that National Assembly, and I call for peace. And I said to the world, the world must know that counter-revolution has triumphed here. Let's get ready. And those who opened the doors for the devil were the ones who voted for the opposition. Because then in 2016, do you remember Ramo Halu? What is it about him? I haven't seen him in a while. 3 months passed. 30 years have to pass. But these people won't be led by the oligarchies and the last names of them.
Brazil's President Lula da Silva assures that the country will respond reciprocally if the U.S. imposes tariffs against Brazilian imports. In the face of Trump's threats, the Brazilian head of state also indicated that he seeks to establish a practical relationship with his U.S. counterparts, especially on environmental issues. In addition, he recalled Colombia's diplomatic situation with Washington after refusing to receive deportations, which caused tensions between both governments. However, the White House announced that it would pause the imposition of the additional tariffs to other nations announced by Trump.
It is very simple. If he imposes tariffs on Brazilian products, there will be reciprocity from Brazil. We will impose tariffs on products exported from the United States. It's simple. There is no problem.
Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel rejected Thursday the U.S. government's decision to send illegal migrants to the Guantanamo naval base. According to U.S. President Donald Trump, a facility holding as many as 30,000 inmates will be built in the illegally occupied Cuban territory to house what he described as the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the people of the United States. The Guantanamo naval base has been occupied by the U.S. government since 1898 against the will of the Cuban people. During the last few days, the United States Immigration and Customs Control Service intensified its operations, detaining at least 5,000 immigrants and issuing more than 1,000 arrest warrants. The Cuban president expressed on X his rejection to Washington's decision, posting, "In an act of brutality, the new U.S. government announces the imprisonment in the Guantanamo naval base located in illegally occupied Cuban territory of thousands of migrants that it forcibly expelling, who will be placed next to the infamous prison of torture and illegal detention." The 6th International Conference of World Balance continues in Havana, Cuba, with the holding of forums, social workshops, and the World Congress of Poets for Peace in Defense of Life. Forums such as International Coalition of Humanity and Building a World Beyond Wars are part of the event to face the problems of development and the consequences of armed conflicts in the world. At the same time, a space is planned to promote the experiences of the José Martí Cultural Society and José Martí's ideology in the Caribbean island, as well as the 3rd International Colloquium of Cuban Historians. The event is being attended by more than 600 delegates from 98 countries and will end on Friday.
A morning full of light that has brought its pride until today when February 4th, 1992, our beloved Commander Chavez said, "I take responsibility for this Bolivarian movement." So far, it has not been possible, but better situations will come, and we put an effort there. The Minister of Culture from Cuba is arriving. Greetings to Cuba from the international encounter of the balance of the world. There, in honoring Jose Marti and his universal ideals, one of the liberators of our America, the apostle of Cuba, who was representing us and delivered a great speech on behalf of the people of Venezuela with courage, dignity, and always saying the truth. Nobody can shut the truth of Venezuela. Never. Greetings to Cuba, the Cuban Revolution, the Army General Raúl Casarruz, and the President Díaz-Canel. We have been in making agreements, the presidents of ALBA, and on next Monday we will hold a special summit to establish the fighting agenda, to review all the aspects of the agenda of December, and to establish the aspects of the defense of our people's sovereignty. On Monday, February 3rd, whose birthday is on February 3rd, honoring the birth of Antonio José de Sucre, an extraordinary summit of the government of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of our America. Then, look, we might say that in 90 years of fight of the working class, the unions, the social movements, the popular forces of the left, our people were able to conquer some rights that were violated all the time because the resources of the country were always distributed in the aspect of the national income, who corresponded to who, the last names. That was the responsibility of the last names. And they took the best part of those incomes and gave the leftovers to the people. But then there was a light, and we were to the path of Venezuela, the forbidden path, pursued but victorious. That's our history. Always banned, but we opened the doors with our own efforts. Pursued, censored, and banned, we built the path to victory. And on December 6, 1998, that powerful social, political, cultural, historic movement of Bolivar, the new Bolivarianism, achieved the election of Commander Rafael Chávez Fría as President of the Republic, the leader of the Bolivarian Revolution. And we started to write another history. And then the next chapter arrived of this series that we are building, the chapter of the Constitution, and we pursued and banned, together with our leader, we create a constitution for the social rights that were in the fights of the multiple generations for 90 years. And we created the social democratic state of right and justice. That was the first picture. And on this basis, the historic era directed by Chavez went through. This lady who is healthy and is 25 years old when it was only 2 years old. Rosine, you were 3 years old at that time. In 22, we were all children. When this constitution was barely 2 years old, Herodes came, captured it, and almost finished it. Pedro Carmona Estanga declared that it was abolished, that the Constitution had died. He dismantled all of the powers and destroyed the social rights of the people that were